welcome to the deep dive.
Yeah.
You're here because I think it's safe to say you enjoy getting to the heart of things.
Right to the core.
You want the real insights from a source
Yeah.
without having to, wade through all the extra stuff.
Yeah, like reading a whole textbook, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you want to learn, but you want to learn it efficiently.
Yeah.
And that's what we try to do here.
That's the goal.
Today, we're diving into a pretty
Dense.
yeah, a pretty well-known book,
Famous, I would say.
famous.
Yeah.
The 48 Laws of Power.
By Robert Greene.
Robert Greene.
Yes.
And this one, it can be a little bit,
Controversial, I think, is a word a lot of people use.
yeah.
A little bit spicy.
It is spicy.
Yeah.
But, it's a really interesting look at power
Right.
throughout history.
Yeah.
And it pulls from, so many different sources. You've got military strategists
Of course.
like Sun Tzu,
Right.
Clausewitz,
Yeah.
and then, even going into like statesmen,
Yeah. Like
Bismarck,
Bismarck. Yep.
Talleyrand,
Talleyrand.
and then even like
Courtiers.
courtiers,
Seductress. Yeah.
con men,
Man.
like Yellow Kid Wild, like it's all over the place.
It's all over the map. But the main through line
Yeah.
is actions that almost always lead to an increase in power.
That's right.
And then also the opposite, actions that will lead to your downfall.
Yeah.
And so
And Greene, he presents these things as almost like
laws of physics almost.
laws of physics. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Timeless,
definitive.
impressive.
This is how the world works.
Right.
Right.
And it's very he's very convincing in the way that he lays it out.
He does a good job.
Yeah.
I think it's important to say right up front that, we are not
Endorsing
endorsing
every single one of these.
any of these
Right.
tactics.
Yeah, it's more about understanding the dynamics that are always at play.
Yeah.
That maybe we haven't noticed before,
Right.
or we haven't thought about in this way.
Yeah.
So it's like giving you this new lens
Yeah.
to look at the world through.
Absolutely.
Right.
So let's just jump right in.
Let's do it.
Law number 1,
Law number 1.
never outshine the master.
Ooh.
What is that all about? What's the fundamental principle there?
So at its core, right, it's about making sure that those above you,
Right.
the people in power,
Yeah.
your bosses, whatever, always feel superior,
Right.
but comfortably superior.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Like the moment they start to feel insecure about their abilities or their position,
Right.
you are in dangerous territory.
Okay. Right.
Like you've triggered this defensive reaction.
Right.
And it happens more often than you think.
Yeah.
This is a common pitfall.
Right.
People want to show off.
Sure.
People want to impress their boss.
Right.
But you can go too far.
Right.
And there's this really great example that Greene uses in the book.
Okay.
It's Nicolas Fouquet
Okay.
and King Louis XIV.
Right. The Sun King.
The Sun King, yeah.
Okay.
So Fouquet was Louis XIV's finance minister.
Right.
Super talented guy.
Okay.
A lot of personal fortune.
Okay.
So he's like, I'm going to throw this huge party.
Okay.
I'm going to impress the king.
Okay.
But he went a little overboard.
Okay.
Right.
In what way?
The party was so opulent,
Okay.
so extravagant,
Yeah.
that it kind of overshadowed the king.
Ouch.
Right. Not intentionally, but the king was like, wait a second.
Yeah. Who's the Sun King here?
Who's got all the money and the power?
Yeah.
Who's throwing the best parties? So what happened to Fouquet?
Well, it doesn't sound good if he's outshining the Sun King.
Yeah, it did not go well for him.
Okay, what happened?
So the king was not happy about this,
Okay.
and Fouquet was arrested
Okay.
by D'Artagnan, no less.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So the real deal.
Real deal, yeah. 3 months later, he was on trial,
Okay.
accused of embezzling money from the treasury.
Okay.
Now, here's the ironic thing.
Okay.
A lot of the spending he was accused of
Uh-huh.
was actually on the king's behalf.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, the irony.
And it was approved by the king.
Oh, my God.
Right.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, he was found guilty.
Yeah. You can't.
And he spent the next 20 years of his life in solitary confinement.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
It is, right.
So it seems like there's almost like a very human element to this.
Of course.
Right. Like even
Even
kings have insecurities.
Mhm.
And they need to feel secure in their power and their position
Yeah,
and their abilities.
of course.
And so it's like your talent, your brilliance, it can almost be like
It's like a threat.
a threat.
Right.
It's not seen as a contribution.
Yeah.
It's seen as competition.
Competition. Like you're trying to take something from them.
Right, right. So, okay, so he has this huge party,
Yeah.
the wrong guest of honor.
Oops.
It goes very badly.
Not great.
Who does Louis XIV, who does he bring in after Fouquet to manage the money?
Well, he needs someone who's not going to, steal the show.
Right, right.
Not going to be so flashy.
Right. Someone a little more low-key.
Yeah. A little bit more understated.
Okay.
So he brings in Jean-Baptiste Colbert.
Okay.
Now, Colbert was a very different guy.
Okay.
Known for his fiscal prudence.
Okay.
Not known for his parties.
Yeah, they were probably pretty boring.
Yeah, I don't think there were a lot of fireworks. But he made sure all the money went to the king.
Right.
No one else.
Okay.
He's the king.
So what did Louis XIV do with this, like, newfound wealth and control?
Well, this is my favorite part of the story.
Okay.
He builds Versailles.
Right, of course.
The most magnificent palace.
Right, the ultimate power move.
Story.
So even more, like, grandiose than anything that Fouquet could have imagined.
Right. He took the same architects and designers
Wow.
and just, like, amped it up to 11.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's like he took Fouquet's idea and was like, I'll show you how it's done.
Exactly. Exactly. And he threw even bigger parties there.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's like this crazy, it really highlights, like, the point that we were making
Yeah.
about the insecurity.
It's all about insecurity.
Yeah.
It's so interesting, right?
It is.
Like, and the book talks about this
Okay.
in the Keys to Power section.
Okay.
It says, everyone has these vulnerabilities.
Right.
Doesn't matter who you are.
Doesn't matter how powerful you are.
Right.
There's always that.
There's always something.
Yeah, that weak spot.
Yeah.
And if you step on that weak spot, whether intentionally or not,
Right.
it can be really bad.
It can be seen as a threat
Right.
to their authority,
Right.
to their ego.
Yeah.
And they'll try to, like, neutralize that threat,
Right.
just like Louis XIV did
With Fouquet.
with Fouquet.
Brought in Colbert.
That's right.
Yeah.
Much safer.
So it's almost like counterintuitive, right?
Yeah, totally.
Because you would think, oh, if I'm good at my job,
Yeah.
if I'm really competent,
Right.
if I'm really good at this,
Right.
and I show my boss how good I am,
Right.
that's going to be rewarded.
You would think, right.
Right.
You would think.
But it's almost like it can backfire.
Well, it can.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so interesting, right? You
Yeah.
think, oh, I'm going to get a promotion.
Right.
You're doing so well.
Right.
But you might be getting, like, quietly pushed out.
Right.
Right.
Yes,
Because
yeah.
you're seen as a threat
Right.
on some level.
Like they don't even want to teach you anymore.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, why bother? You already know everything.
You're already better than me.
Right. Right. So what's the advice then?
Okay, so this is the actionable stuff.
Right.
Make your master look good.
Okay.
Flatter them,
Okay.
but subtly.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't be like,
Yeah, you don't want to be like super obvious.
overt about it.
Right.
Like be smart about it.
Right.
If you are really intelligent,
Okay.
if you are more skilled than your boss,
Yeah.
act a little naive.
Okay.
Right. Ask for their advice.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you know so much about this. Can you help me?
Right.
People love that.
Yeah.
Like masters, they want to be the master.
Yeah. They want to feel important.
Right. They want to feel like they have something to teach you.
Right.
If they can't,
Yeah.
that's when you become a threat.
Yeah. Then they get resentful.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let's move on to law number 2.
Okay.
Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies.
Ooh, spicy.
This one's a little bit spicy.
A little bit.
Cutthroat, baby.
Yeah, I mean, the judgment here is pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Be careful about putting too much trust in your friends,
Okay.
right? Because, that familiarity,
Yeah.
it can breed contempt. It
Right.
can breed envy.
Yeah.
It can breed this sense of entitlement.
Okay.
But former enemies,
Okay.
they might actually be more reliable.
Okay. Interesting.
Right.
Why is that?
Because they have something to prove.
Oh.
Right. They're coming to you. They're like, look, I'm on your side now.
All right.
I'm going to show you I'm loyal.
Okay. So they're more motivated.
Yeah.
To be loyal.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the book gives examples of both sides of this coin.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So someone who put way too much trust in a friend.
Yes. The cautionary tale.
Yeah.
Michael III of the Byzantine Empire.
Okay. Tell me about it.
So he becomes emperor.
Okay.
Pretty young guy.
Okay.
Not a lot of experience.
Great.
And it's a really unstable time
Okay.
in the Byzantine court.
Okay.
Everyone's trying to, like, grab power.
Right, right.
So he's got this best friend,
Okay.
Basilius,
Okay.
who was the head of the royal stables.
Okay.
Now, Basilius,
Yeah.
never been in politics,
Okay.
no experience,
Right, right.
but they're best friends.
Right.
So Michael's like, you're going to be my advisor.
Oh, boy.
Right.
That's a little bit of a recipe for disaster.
It can be,
Yeah.
especially at this time, right?
Right.
So much is going on.
Right, right.
I mean, to give you an idea, like Michael's mom had just been banished.
Oh.
Her lover, who was like the power behind the throne,
Yeah.
had been murdered.
Oh, wow.
Like there was so much drama.
Right. So this is a pretty perilous time.
Yeah, this is high stakes.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's got his buddy from the stables
Advising him.
advising him.
Wow. Okay.
So,
And like, what was the upshot of all that?
well, Basilius, he might have been a loyal friend,
Okay.
but he just didn't have the political savvy
Right.
to navigate all of this.
Yeah.
And he was up against some serious players.
Right.
Like Michael's uncle Bardas.
Okay.
This guy was ambitious. He had been the one who, orchestrated the whole getting
Right.
rid of the mom and the lover.
Oh, wow. Okay. So he's a pretty serious player.
Yeah, this guy's not messing around.
Right.
Right. And so,
So Basilius is just out of his depth.
yeah. And in the end, Michael was overthrown and killed.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
So not a great ending to that story.
Yeah, not a happy ending.
Yeah. Not a happy ending. Okay. So that's the trusting the friend too much.
Right. Yeah.
What about the flip side?
Right.
What about the leader who understood that maybe friends aren't always the best people to rely on?
Right. So we've got Emperor Sung
Okay.
of the Sung dynasty in China.
Okay.
And this guy, he was a smart cookie.
Okay.
So he becomes emperor.
Okay.
And he knows
Yeah.
that the army commanders, they're
Right.
powerful,
Right.
they could be a threat.
Sure.
Right. So he's not going to just rely on, like, personal loyalty.
Right.
Oh, you're my friend, I trust you.
Right.
He's like, no. I need a strategy.
Okay.
So he throws this big banquet,
Okay.
invites all these commanders.
Right.
They're all having a good time,
Right.
feasting, drinking.
Sure.
And then he dismisses all the guards.
Oh, well.
Right. So everyone's kind of like, oh, what's going on? A little
A
awkward.
little awkward,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Tension in the room.
Yeah, a little tension.
And then he gives this speech
Okay.
and he says, I'm scared.
Really?
Yeah.
What is he scared of?
He's like, I'm scared of being assassinated.
Right, sure. I mean, that makes sense.
Right? I mean, emperor,
Yeah.
dangerous job.
Yeah.
Right. And then he says to the commanders, I'm worried that your own men,
Okay.
they're going to force you to take the throne
Oh, okay.
because they want power.
Right.
They want money.
Right.
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 So he's playing on their fears too.
Totally. He's like, you guys are in danger too.
Right. Right. Right.
Wow. Okay. So he's got everybody kind of like on edge.
Yeah. Everyone's a little nervous
Yeah, a
now.
little nervous.
Right.
Okay.
And then he's like, I've got a deal for you.
Oh, okay.
Right.
It's a deal.
Give up your commands.
Oh, okay.
And I'll give you riches,
Okay.
estates.
Okay.
You could just like chill out, retire.
Retire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Live the good life.
Wow. Okay. And they bought it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
So he got rid of a huge threat
Right.
without any bloodshed.
Right. No violence.
No violence.
Just like a good party and a good speech.
That's right.
That's amazing. So what are the keys to power here? Why, like relying just on your buddies, why that's dangerous?
So it's interesting when you hire your friends,
Yeah.
sometimes it brings out these negative qualities in them
Oh, yes.
that you didn't even know were there.
Okay.
Right. And it's almost like they feel like they didn't earn it.
Right.
So they're subconsciously like, well, I don't really deserve this,
Right.
so I'm not going to be there grateful.
Right. Yeah.
And then even you start to resent them.
Yeah. You're like, well, I did you this favor.
I did you this favor.
You should be more grateful.
Why aren't you more grateful?
Yeah.
And it messes up the relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. It's like
Right.
that whole like, don't lend money to family.
Right, exactly.
It's like
Yeah.
it can ruin the relationship.
It changes things.
Yeah, it changes things.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about the other side?
Right.
What about the idea of using enemies to your advantage?
So this is interesting too.
Okay.
Right. The book says that enemies can be good for you
Okay.
in a weird way.
Okay.
Right.
In what way?
They keep you sharp.
Okay.
They make you think.
Right.
They keep you focused.
Right.
They keep you alert.
So it's like you don't get complacent.
Yeah, you can't get complacent.
Right.
Right. And the book uses Mao Zedong as an example.
Okay.
So in 1937,
Yeah.
Japan invades China.
Right.
Full scale.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's this debate among the Chinese communists.
Okay.
Some of them are like, look, we should just avoid fighting the nationalists. We should use this time to rebuild our strength.
Right. Like, let's just lay low,
Yeah.
stay out of the fray,
Yeah.
and then when we're strong, we'll come back.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Mao,
Right.
he's like, no,
Okay.
we should fight the Japanese.
Really?
Yeah.
Even though they're much stronger?
Yeah, they were stronger at the time.
Okay.
But he's like, think about it.
Okay.
This is perfect training
Okay.
for our army.
All right.
Right.
Yeah.
It's going to get us ready for the nationalists.
Right. So
Yeah.
he sees it as like a training exercise.
Right. It's like practice.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. And what happened?
Well, history proved him right.
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 Yeah.
The communists, they gained a lot of experience fighting the Japanese.
Right.
And they were better prepared to take on the nationalists.
Wow. So his enemies actually made him stronger.
Exactly. So it's like this weird counterintuitive thing.
Yeah. Okay. So let's move on to law number 3.
Okay, number 3.
Conceal your intentions.
Mm-hmm.
This one feels like, I don't know, like core strategic doctrine.
Absolutely.
It's like
Yeah.
Deception 101.
Yeah. What's the fundamental idea here?
Okay, so you want to use misdirection.
Okay.
You want to create what the book calls smoke screens
Okay.
to hide your true objectives,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Like be hard to read,
Okay.
bland on the outside,
Okay.
but like, scheming on the inside.
Right. Like a good poker player.
Exactly.
Just
Poker face.
like poker face.
Stone cold.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. And Green, he's got some great, like, really colorful examples
You did,
of this one.
Yeah, like Yellow Kid Whale,
Oh, yeah, the yellow kid,
Yeah.
the con man.
the con man extraordinaire. So there's this story about him and Sam Giesel
Okay.
and this fake land deal.
Right. So while he's meeting with these financiers,
Okay.
right, and he wants to create this impression of legitimacy, right? Like, we're wealthy.
Right.
We're successful.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
But it's all facade.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Giesel,
Yeah.
he's waiting with a hired boxer.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
A guy named Gross.
Okay.
And Gross is instructed to shadow box.
Really?
Like, really intensely.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the point of that?
To create a distraction.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a spectacle.
Right.
So Giesel's watching this guy.
Yeah.
Like, going crazy.
Right. He's like mesmerized.
He's totally mesmerized. Host speaker.